How's it going, everyone? It is the real Randy Chavez coming at you with a stock video. Before I get into the big stuff, let you know VXRT, that VXRT Corp, the one that is coming out, or at least doing clinical trials of a oral vaccine, something that you do not have to store in crazy or at least cold temperatures, has a very good shelf life, and that's only really going to be used for respiratory stuff such as COVID, influenza, SARS, and a couple of others. Pretty much, even if it doesn't get picked as the vaccine for everyone, but again, just personal opinion, not financial advice. I think it will be, because hospitals would love oral vaccines as opposed to injectables, because injectables, they have to store at a certain temperature. It is something that not only do you have to disinfect the area, but you also have to have needles, and needles, not only some people afraid of them, whatever, but there is a cost to not only purchasing the needles, but also a cost to being able to get them taken away. They are known as sharps, biohazard. You put in a little red container. You have to pay for every pound that's taken out. And if, hundreds of billions of people are going to get this vaccine, that is a lot of money to being able to, like some tens of millions of dollars being able to take away from sharps that people will save if they don't have to do that. If hospitals can just, pill, there it is, that's it, easy. The vaccines really big on themselves. So I didn't have a lot of money. I bought like another 8 shares. Like I have like 166 shares now, I think. Very, very small amount, a couple grand worth. I bought in a lot at like $12 and bought in today at like $8 and something cents. So just, again, keeping things transparent. As far as going with transparency, for the most part, I am pretty over leveraged right now. I do not have a lot of money. I owe my friend like 10 grand maybe, and I gave him a check for 4 today, and like $500 left, but I'm getting like 2,500 on Monday, and I have another 3 grand coming next week. So I have what I'm gonna give him is what I'm gonna give him, and then over the next couple weeks, if I get a little more money, what am I going to do? I'm going to buy another share of Tesla. Now I have 40 already. Why am I doing this? Because some news on Tesla is that they have they posted their 90,650 vehicles. That is what they have delivered. That is freaking fantastic, crazy, amazing. I think yesterday I said I thought they would do like 87, but they did 90. So I think it was like a 2% growth over last quarter, which last quarter they did post a profit, but like 354 million of that profit was in ZEV credits, zero emission vehicles, stuff that Tesla can they have abundance to sell them to whoever, Daimler, Ford, or Chrysler, whoever they're selling it to, they are selling to for a lot of money. And if I did some back of the napkin math, between last year and the end of 2021, they are going to sell about $2 billion worth of ZEV credits. And based on everything, it looks like they could do $128 million per quarter in ZEV credits if they do it for the rest of the year, Q2, Q3, Q4. If that's the case, so the 2% growth, they might have to make up an additional, I would say an additional, because they did 354 last quarter, 128. So figure if they do 128, that's an extra $226 million that they have to make up. But the 2% growth, let's say that's an extra, 20 million. And they have so 200, let's say 200 million that they have to make up. The Model Y is going to be, it is more profitable. China itself is just more profitable. China itself, despite that little bit of a shutdown, they did fantastic numbers, and Model Y is just insane margins on that, because it's cheaper, especially in China. It's easier to make, lower cost to make, great margin. So I think if you don't make it up there with those profits, they have a lot of software updates that people bought, full self-driving, that autopilot, a bunch of people really pushing. Like I myself bought a Tesla shirt. You saw it in yesterday's video. Buying merch, buying stuff on the App Store. And I think I told you guys about it. I pre-ordered a second Cybertruck. One was for the Chavez Canto project, my first business. The other was for the or that was my second business. The Chavez Trading Company was my first business. So I ordered one for both. I don't know if I'll keep it, but Stephen Mark Ryan from Solving the Money Problem came up with a fantastic video. But before we get into that, most people are pretty much saying, yeah, that they're 99% sure they're going to post a profit. Not only that, but because Elon has been having a lot of fun on Twitter saying like, oh, SEC, the one that he doesn't respect and doesn't have a problem with, that's actually an acronym. I'll give you a hint. The middle one stands for Elon's, so SEC, suck Elon's cock. He literally told the SEC to suck his dick. I cannot imagine a world in which he says that and they don't post a profit. I'll bet someone money that they post a profit. We're going to figure that out late July. We don't know when. But last week of July is when we're going to get the numbers on whether they post a profit or not. Up until then, I think the stock is just going to go sideways. It was up like fucking 8% today, from pre-market. Oh, God, it was insane. I forget who it was. They had Tesla at like $1,000 and like, oh, you know what? Nope, upgrade to $1,200. Oh, wait, no, delivered. Upgrade to $2,000 a share. But for analysts, which is very, very high, because analysts are always just like, 500 share, 800 share. Like they're always lowballing for whatever reason. But I think once inclusion in the S&P 500, which should be around August, as long as they post a profit, I feel like you're going to see a lot more bulls. People are like, yes, pro Tesla, and then a lot less bears. Because so many people lost so much freaking money shorting the stock. It is insane. But back to what I was getting at before. Stephen Mark Ryan of Solving the Money Problem says that, hey, listen, by 2030, let's say they grow, 40-50% each year, and they're doing 10 million vehicles a year by 2030. 10 million vehicles like delivered, not just produced, delivered in sales. He's had to figure that's about $500 billion in revenue. And then if Tesla Energy becomes just as big as that, then that is another $500 billion, about $1 trillion worth of revenue. All the 40% margins, he's looking at about a $6 trillion company for Tesla at that point. And if it's about 25% bigger than what they are, or I'm sorry, 25 times bigger than what they are now, he's looking at about a $27,000 stock price, which is insane. And that's not including full self-driving. That's not including software updates with, anything software, such as games or apps in the car. Because when you're not driving, you're going to be playing games or watching Netflix or whatever. And then you also have not only those, but again, Tesla Energy, I mentioned. Nobody's really mentioned insurance, which insurance is going to be ridiculous. Let's say you have, 10 million cars that are all getting $80 a month for insurance, and I'm really lowballing it. What is that, 10 million times 80? Is that $800 million in revenue a year just from that? Just from insurance. So again, they have that. They have their battery chemistry, their licensing. They have HVAC, and they're also doing RNA microfactories. They want to get into science. There is so much innovation that is going on with Tesla. I have 40 shares. It's not nearly enough. I'm going to over leverage myself whenever I can to buy this stock, just because I see so much future. I'd say 27 grand is like the base case for 2030. I think it'll be higher. I think maybe 35, because full self-driving is going to be ridiculous. Robotaxi revenue is going to be fucking bananas. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be insane. So anyway, guys, that is it. I'm just letting you know, keeping you posted on what I'm doing. This is not financial advice, just what I'm doing. I love you. I'm the real Randy Chavez. Goodbye.